Dear students, in this series of videos, I am going to explain solutions to some of the numerical problems on analysis of heat exchangers. There are three kinds of problems in heat transfer, particularly heat exchangers: rating, sizing, and optimum design. In rating problems, we'll know the physical dimensions and also the thermal conditions in case of a heat exchanger, like the temperatures at the inlet and outlet conditions for both the cool and hot fluids. In such cases, we can find out, in case of rating problems, we can find out what is the heat transfer available from the existing system. Whereas in case of sizing, for the in order to obtain the required amount of heat transfer, we are going to find out the physical dimensions of the heat exchanger, like diameter of the tubes or length of the tube, number of passes, all those. And when it comes to optimum design, we are required to find out the minimum surface area required for a given heat duty. Okay, each problem will fall into the category of any of these main problems. The first problem is on sizing, to find the length of a tube required for a parallel flow heat exchanger where air is heated by exhaust gases. So air is the cold fluid and exhaust gases are the hot fluid. The rate of heat transfer is 9300 watt, where inside diameter di and outside diameter d naught of the tube are 5 cm and 6 cm respectively. Hi, that is heat transfer coefficient on the inside surface, is 116 watt per meter square degree Celsius, and H naught is 186 watt per meter square degree Celsius. Thi and Th naught are inlet and outlet temperatures of hot fluid, respectively are 400 degree Celsius and 150 degree Celsius. Similarly, Tci and Tco are the inlet and outlet temperatures of the cold fluid, are 50, that is 50 and 100 degree Celsius respectively. Neglect the tube resistance. If the heat exchanger is made counterflow with the same temperatures recorded, what is the percentage saving in the tube length? There are actually two parts of the question. One is to find out the length for a parallel flow heat exchanger, and then you have to do the same thing for considering the same problem for counterflow, and then compare these lengths to find out the percentage saving in the tube length. The temperature variation for a parallel flow heat exchanger is drawn here. So the same thing is listed out as data available, including the heat transfer rate, the inside and outside diameters, wherein we can find out the radius also. Ri is di by 2, similarly Ro is d naught by 2. Hi, H naught listed out, all the temperatures recorded, and whenever all the temperatures are known to us, that is both inlet and outlet temperatures of hot and cold fluids are known to us, it is always best to follow the LMTD method, logarithmic mean temperature difference method. So LMTD for a parallel flow heat exchanger is given by theta m is equal to theta T Hi minus Tci minus Thno minus Tco divided by logarithm to the base e of Thi minus Tci divided by Tho minus Tco. Since we know all these temperature values, we can substitute them in the equation for theta m for parallel flow and obtain LMTD value for parallel flow as 154 degree Celsius. And in order to find out the length or the area, we have equation Q is equal to UA into LMTD. So U is overall heat transfer coefficient. In order to find it out, for flow between the heat transfer between tube flow, that is one fluid flowing inside the pipe and the other fluid is external to it, we have this general expression for overall heat transfer coefficient. 1 by U naught is equal to R naught by Ri into 1 by Hi plus R naught divided by K into ln of R naught by Ri plus 1 by H naught. Remember, this is without taking into consideration any of the fouling resistance. Again, it is given in the problem to neglect the tube resistance. Even though the tube has got some thickness, because the outer diameter is 6 centimeter and the inside diameter is 5 centimeter, but in case when the thermal conductivity of that material is high, we can neglect the center term in this, that is the resistance due to the pipe material or the tube material can be neglected. In that case, the equation for U naught reduces to 1 by U naught is equal to R naught by Ri into 1 by Hi plus 1 by H naught. So we have the values of R naught and Ri, Hi and H naught listed in the data. Substituting that, we get the value of U naught 186 watt per meter square degree Celsius. So now we have theta m, that is LMTD, and U naught. So using this expression for rate of heat transfer, where the only unknown is A naught, Q is equal to U naught into A naught into theta m. A naught is the surface area available, which is given by 2 pi R naught into L or pi d naught into L. So substituting that back in the equation for Q, and the only unknown parameter in this equation is L, that is length of the parallel flow heat exchanger. So substituting all those and expressing in terms of L only, we get the value of L for parallel flow heat exchanger as 5.03 meter. Remember, this is for parallel flow heat. Now we'll try this problem for counterflow heat exchanger. The temperature variation for counterflow heat exchanger is drawn, and all the data remains the same, and the equation for LMTD changes. LMTD of counterflow changes because the temperature difference at the inlet and exit ends are changing here. So substituting those values, we get our new value for LMTD of counterflow heat exchanger, that is 182. In the case of parallel flow, it was 154, and now it is 182. So for these reasons, we say that LMTD of counterflow heat exchanger is high, and these counterflow heat exchangers are found to be more effective in transferring the rate of heat transfer, that is Q is equal to U into theta m. So for fixed values of U and A, this LMTD, the counterflow method or counterflow heat exchanger arrangement, found to be more effective. And in a similar way, this U naught can be found out, which I am not showing it here. It is already written, and it is the same value. And now using the same expression for Q, which is U naught A naught into theta m, which we have to find out a separate value for L. For this case, we get this time for L of the counterflow arrangement, that is length of the counterflow arrangement, 4.262 meter. So from 5.03 meter For a parallel flow, it is now reduced to 4.262 meter in case of a counterflow heat exchanger. That means when you are using a counterflow heat exchanger for the same temperatures and also the physical conditions like the heat transfer coefficient and also the heat requirement there, so you can use lesser value of length. That means small length of the heat exchanger is sufficient enough to affect the same heat transfer. So now it is required to find out what is the percentage saving in the tube length. So for that purpose, first we'll list out these lengths for parallel flow and counter flow. And now this percentage saving in length, for that the reference is parallel flow. So the difference is length of parallel flow minus length of counter flow. So we have taken this difference and divided it by the length of parallel flow and expressed this as percentage by multiplying it by 100. So in doing so, we get 15.2% as the answer. This second problem is considered to explain the difficulty of using LMTD method to find out the outlet temperatures of hot and cold fluid when they are not known. In such cases, it is always preferable to use effectiveness NTU method, but this problem is given to find out the exit temperatures of hot and cold fluids for parallel and counterflow arrangements in case of LMTD method, using LMTD method. So a heat exchanger has 17.5 square meter area available for heat transfer. It is used for cooling oil at 200 degrees Celsius, that is the inlet temperature of oil, by using water available at 20 degrees Celsius, that is inlet temperature of water. Mass flow rate and specific heat of oil are 10,000 kg per hour and 1.9 kilojoule per kg Kelvin, and the mass flow rate and specific heat of water are 3000 kg per hour and 4.187 kilojoule per kg Kelvin respectively. If the overall heat transfer coefficient is 300 watt per square meter per degree Celsius, estimate the outlet temperatures of oil and water for parallel flow and counter flow arrangements using LMTD method. So we have to list out the data first, and we'll try out the solution for parallel flow arrangement first. So this is the variation we have. THI and TCI are known, whereas we have to find out the other two temperatures. Area is known, U naught is known. For hot fluid, inlet temperature is known. Similarly, for cold fluid, inlet temperature is known. Mass flow rates of each is given. Since it is given in kg per hour, we'll have to express it in kg per second by dividing that value by 3600. And CP, specific heats, are given in kilojoule per kg Kelvin. That you can express by multiplying by 1000 into joule per kg Kelvin. Now from energy balance, the rate of heat transfer in a heat exchanger is given by the heat lost by hot fluid, which is also equal to heat gained by the cold fluid. So from that, in terms of mass flow rates and specific heats and also the temperature differences, we can write this as heat lost by cold fluid, heat lost by hot fluid as m dot h into Cph multiplied by the temperature difference, that is Thi minus Th naught. That is Thi will be greater than Th naught, and heat gained by cold fluid is equal to m dot c into Cpc multiplied by Tco minus Tci, that is Tco will be greater than Tci. So this term Q will be a positive quantity. And now in this case we don't have a definite value of Q, but we can establish relation between these outlet temperatures, Tho and Tco. by substituting those values of m dot and cp for each case, and the known temperature values, we can arrive at an expression for THO or TCO in terms of THO. You can do the same thing for THO in terms of TCO also. What I have tried out now in this step is I have simplified considering the equation, and try to express TCO in terms of THO. Okay, 322.6 minus 1.513 THO is the equation for TCO now. And remember, this equation, irrespective of whether it is a parallel flow or counter flow, is true. Now we have this LMTD equation for parallel flow, but we don't know the value of THO and TCO. What we can do is we can substitute equation we just found for TCO in place there. THI and TCI are known. When we do that, there is one simple thing we can get there. THO is already there, and we have replaced TCO by the new equation what we have developed. And when you try it out after simplifications steps there, we can arrive at theta m is equal to 502.6 in minus 2.513 th naught, a log of e to the power base e, and within the bracket that there is 180 divided by 2.2513 th naught minus 322.6. So this is the expression for theta m what we have at this stage, but we can just continue further by using the equation for rate of heat transfer. Rate of heat transfer is given by Q is equal to U naught A naught into theta m. Theta m is the LMTD. In doing so, and we have expression for Q which I have tried to express earlier for heat lost by hot fluid, and that is equated to U naught A naught theta m, and theta m as it is substituted there, A naught value given, U naught is also given, and in the whole equation the only unknown here is THO. So it is to be simplified, but there is one THO included in the logarithms. Okay, I have taken that log term out to the left side and kept everything else on the right side, and we can have actually a simplification step for this. As far as possible, we can actually simplify this, but we don't get an exact solution here. Now what we have to try is, by trial and error, we just have to put some value of THO. So the possible values you can start there is between 20 and 200. It won't go in extreme ends, so it will be between 20 and 200 degrees Celsius by making reasonable values. Okay, reasonable guess there. So you have to try out the different values of THO and check whether the LHS becomes equal to RHS. So this is the difficulty I was expressing earlier. So when you don't know these outlet temperatures and you have to try it out by LMTD method, this difficulty is experienced. So by trial and error, you can find out that at 134 degrees Celsius applied for THO, okay, the LHS becomes equal to RHS. So you can say that THO is equal to 134 degrees Celsius. And now since we have expression for TCO in terms of THO, substituting that THO in that equation for TCO, we get TCO also. So that will be 120 degrees Celsius. Remember, this is for parallel flow arrangement, and we have to repeat these steps for counter flow arrangement also. As I mentioned, TCO expression remains the same for counterflow arrangement also, but the temperature variation is different for this case, and it gets more complex because of the LMTD expression. You can observe that LMTD expression for counterflow heat exchanger, and that now please go through the simplification steps properly. Now it is more explicit, no more implicit here, the equation for theta m in terms of THO, and so finally simplify theta m to the extent possible in terms of THO, and we can substitute that in the equation for Q, the same way we did it for parallel flow. And again we have to try out the simplification steps to the extent possible, and then take out this logarithmic term onto the left hand side and try to go for trial and error method. And when you try it out this time, for the case of counterflow heat exchanger, you can see this THO becomes 120 degrees Celsius. I just want to recall that for the previous parallel flow arrangement, that was 134 degrees Celsius, and now it has been reduced to 120 degrees Celsius. What does it signify? In case of a counterflow heat exchanger, it is easy, or it is possible to extract more heat from the hot fluid, thereby reducing the temperature of the hot fluid at the outlet. And since we have this TCO expression in terms of THO, we can also find out TCO. And now you can compare the values of TCO for each case. For parallel flow, it was 120 degrees Celsius, but for counterflow, it is 140 degrees Celsius. There is a rise in temperature of 20 degrees Celsius from parallel to counterflow. So this says that counterflow heat exchangers are more effective in transferring the heat.